super pumped about this milestone. I've been at this YouTube channel now for 10 years, maybe, yeah, just about 10 years. I would say seriously for the last 2018, when I bought this motorcycle, that was like the first time that I was like, I really making YouTube content around things that I love, but also more importantly, it was a time for me that I realized that I was able to kind of get back to some things in my life that like I sort of had abandoned through, I guess, a common story, which is like we all get older and you start working and you just start doing like the daily grind, you know, and then that daily grind becomes a yearly grind. Before you know it, you lose 10 years of your life, 20 years of your life to a career. And when I started doing YouTube like 10 years ago, it really kind of became not just an excuse, but a motivation to get back into some of that stuff that I just kind of abandoned over those years. And that was around like that, again, that 2018 mark where I was like, hey, I got the bike and I was super pumped about it. And then around the same time, I bought a 2011 wrecked Crown Vic, I think it was, and started rebuilding that on the channel here. And that became something that was like even deeper into like, hey, I want a wrench. And now you see like all of these tools and everything. This was all because of the YouTube channel. And without it, I wouldn't have had a lot. Without it, I would have still ended up with quite a bit of this stuff just because my career also kind of exploded around the same time that I got serious about this. So I had the ability to get some of this stuff too. But no doubt a lot of this stuff there wouldn't have been a reason to get into a lot of this stuff. So, this YouTube journey for me has been not just something that, allowed me to like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain. Hitting this milestone really makes you kind of like reassess the entire YouTube journey, to be totally honest with you. But I made a lot of decisions early on with this channel. 10 years ago, I started this out saying I was going to do like tech videos. I thought I was going to be reviewing cameras and I lost the screen. All right, let's turn off the screensaver on this guy. 10 years ago, I really thought that I was going to be doing like Marquez Brownlee or like, I don't know, just a lot of those kinds of videos. And I just realized real fast, like I was only doing that because that was like the popular thing to do at the time. And I didn't really know or have any other ideas, but I abandoned that pretty quickly because it was just like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So the reason I'm telling this story is because, when I decided to pivot away from tech, I had my 2015 GMC Sierra at that time, and I was like, I want to start wrenching on stuff, so I started doing that. And then the motorcycle, the Crown Vic, all that stuff. I started realizing, this is probably early 2020, when I was at around 10,000 subscribers, I started really understanding how much I was shooting myself in the foot when it came to growth on YouTube, because every time I post a truck video, motorcycle people bail. When I post a side-by-side video, truck or motorcycle people bail. So I'm always trading audiences, and I knew that. But I've told people this time and time again, like if I'm going to exploit my hobbies for profit, which, the people that are like, oh, I'm not in YouTube for the money, like most of them are I don't say they're lying. I think they're lying to themselves, because truth be told, the juice is not worth the squeeze when it comes to this stuff. It's only fun for so long. I've told this story before about like, I think, sorry guys, I'm trying to turn off the screensaver here. It's like the idea of like a kid who starts mowing lawns for fun because he loves mowing lawns, and then eventually a neighbor's like, hey, can you mow my lawn? And then another one's like, hey, can you mow mine? And then he starts raising his prices, and then he starts wondering like, hey, this was fun, I was doing this as a hobby. Eventually all of those things that are like pursuits like that become somewhat of a business. All right, bear with me a second here, guys. I need to lock screen. Turn my screen off, never. All right. I swear I'll get back to my story. I promise. All right, there we go. The screen shouldn't shut off now. So the point that I was trying to make is like, look, this YouTube pursuit is anybody that you watch who enjoys doing what they're doing is exploiting their hobbies for profit. And I've always said, like, if I'm going to do that, and it's not a negative thing, it's actually totally fine. If I'm going to do that, I kind of need to do it to all of them. Sorry, I'm also pulling up, I'm going to try to go live on TikTok. And that way, if I do it with all of them, I'm not, exploiting one of them to the point where I no longer enjoy doing it anymore. Sorry, I'm going to go live on. Dude, I hate TikTok. I don't even know why I'm going on there. Facial age. Okay, we got to be kidding me, right? Bro. Road Reality. Yeah, Road Reality. You're actually somebody that could absolutely vouch for kind of where I'm going from here. And I think that people that are creators get real defensive when I got to place my face in the frame. I'm trying to log into TikTok. We'll get back to that in a second here. Age confirmed. It knows that I'm old. All right, we're going live on TikTok. Anybody who's been doing this long enough, I think if you're being honest with yourself, would accept the fact that you're in it for the money. Now, the funny thing is I just went live on TikTok, and the difference, for anybody that's on TikTok here, I'm about to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that is the reason I'm going live here. Let's turn that one over here. There, whatever. You guys on TikTok, you can just listen to me talk. If you want to see anything, go over there. But what's wild to me is, like, I've been doing this for 10 years, and what I don't understand about TikTok versus YouTube, and people are like, "Oh, are you on TikTok? You gotta be over there because it's it's like the new thing." But TikTok to me is like the worst version of social media, because it's basically like all of the negative parts of fame without any of the fortune. And I never got into YouTube for fortune. It was never about, like, I'm going to get rich off of this. But there certainly there's money involved in it. And I would be lying if I said that wasn't a heavy motivator, not only for when I started doing it, but also why I continued doing it. There was a lot of times where, like, you start just getting burned out from creating, and it's good that the money brings you back into it, because as long as you have a passion for the actual creation part of it, I've actually really enjoyed the fact where it's like, oh, I kind of want to keep that going. And the seasons of my life where YouTube just kind of became like, hey, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, I was able to kind of come back to it, and I'm forever grateful for that. So as this channel is about to cross 100,000 subscribers, I'm just incredibly grateful for what this journey has afforded me the ability to do. It's been real awesome. Is there any way? Let's see here. Nope, that's not it. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna move my my camera for TikTok here, guys, which I really, again, don't really care that much about, but So much crap going on. It's ridiculous. All right, pick that back up. Sorry, I'm making the TikTok people sick here. All right, that should be good enough. All right, there we go. You guys on YouTube are my priority. I got TikTok over there. Now we're rocking and rolling. So we're 25 subscribers away from 100,000, and it's been super rad. So Road Reality, let me catch up here. I actually now have good going on over there, although I'll need to plug that in, but the battery's okay for now. So we'll let that ride. Road Reality, definitely, juice definitely ain't worth the squeeze, at least on the channels pay for their own gear now. Yeah. You know, what's really wild to me is the TikTok side of stuff. Again, it's like all of the fame without the fortune. Anytime I've seen like TikTok channels explode, I have always like almost like questioned, like, why do they even care? Just because like on the TikTok side of things, it's only brand deals. And on the YouTube side, it's not all that different. There's a lot of brand stuff. I mean, look, I've been working with Real Truck for a few years now. So like they certainly help the channel. They help me with content. They help me with, you know, the ability to create. And I'm super grateful for that. But I don't really get paid by Real Truck the same way that people on like TikTok are literally taking like thousands of dollars for like posts, because the TikTok world is just the short world. Is like quick hit stuff. They just want like rapid exposure. The content's usually trash. Like a lot of the ad reads I see on TikTok are just absolute garbage. And truth be told, I would have zero desire to take any money from brands on like short form content just to do like a 30-second ad read. That to me is way worse than having to spend days actually creating like a long form video about wrenching on the truck, or you know, like a lot of these videos that I do in the garage here, I will spend like however much time it takes to film a video. I'll run the cameras the entire time I'm working on stuff. So if it takes you, the average person, a day or two in the garage, it takes me the same amount of time plus a little bit more because of cameras and audio and all that kind of stuff. But then I need to edit. I need to go through and do all of the the work. Sometimes these edits on these videos can take, I'd be embarrassed to say, but some of these videos might take 20, 30 hours to edit, depending on the size of the video and how perfectionist I get with it. But some of them aren't, some of them are, but I just enjoy the long form way longer. So like this on YouTube is way more important than anything over on the TikTok side. I would much rather have 100,000 on YouTube than 1 million on TikTok. And I mean that completely. Like no doubt about it. The value as a creator it's just, this is way better. So I've always enjoyed the long form stuff. I'm dabbling in the short form, but that is not the point of this video. The point of this video is I'm riding here to 100,000 subscribers. This has been a ridiculous journey for me. It's been a long time coming. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me here. Yeah, wander around. This is going to be a real wandery live stream because I'm going to be doing this for a bit. Let me bring this a little closer. Whoa, lost it. I want to be able to read comments on the TikTok side too. So I'm bringing the phone a little bit closer. All right. Yeah, that's much better. Now I can actually read. The goal here is to, well, first of all, I'm using TikTok also for comments. So I'm going to read off the screen there, read off the screen here. So Norman, switch account to another subscriber for you. Kind of cheap. Thanks. I appreciate the extra subs. How long did it take you? Garage Noise. Always curious about other channels. It took me 10 years. I am not the how to grow a YouTube channel quick guy. That is not me. I am the how to do it and not quit guy. Look, there's a lot of people that have, let me grab a chair here. Let me pull up a little chair here. I am not the get rich quick guy. I am not the how to grow a channel quick guy, because I've seen a lot of channels blow up. I've seen people not know what to do with it. I've seen people quit. I've seen people, the people come and go because they just grow too fast. They lose interest in their own niche. All kinds of reasons why people come and go. But I think that I've had the most authentic version of a growth story when it comes to social media. It's not the sexy way to do it, but it is maybe the most authentic. But that's always been kind of my thing, is like trying to be the most authentic version of myself that I can be. And I've kind of always hung my hat on that. So Garage Noise, just out of curiosity, like, that's not bad. Took me 5, but I went hard for a while. Garage Noise, how many subs do you have? I suppose I could look it up, right? Garage Noise, 109,000. So yeah, you've had that journey. It all depends. Look, you can grow real quick, and especially if you stick with a niche. Like I know for a fact, if I switched and just did motorcycles or just did side-by-sides or just did that this channel could be at 1 million subscribers at this point. Maybe that's a little bit rich, but certainly 500,000. If you do this long enough, you start to actually really know how good you are and where you're not good. Like, you really start to have a pretty good lay of the land when it comes to this stuff. But I'm pretty confident now in my editing ability and the things that I do to say, like, if I stuck with a niche, I would be way larger, and I could be in a position where, like, I did this full time. I did this full time earlier this year, had a chance to do that. And even that was like, I don't think I want to do this full time. I don't think the content comes across as authentic when it becomes a mandatory, I need to do this to pay the bills. I think that people start stretching for content. I'm going to say this out of all due respect. There's a lot of motorcycle creators. I'm really kind of heavy in this motorcycle space. I feel like I kind of dabble in it, jump in, jump out at times. But there's a lot of like big motorcycle content creators that I follow. And after 4 or 5 years, the content starts to feel a little repetitive. There's a few people that I watch that live and breathe, like they're really about that life. Norman, thanks. Get Grandma to subscribe. I appreciate that. They're really about that life, Cruzy Originals here in Phoenix. You watch his stuff. He's all about Harley. He's got his shop. His shop existed before he was doing Harley stuff. That dude is all about that life. Road Reality, you're all about that life. But Road Reality, you're also dabbling in like the truck stuff. And, I've actually had a lot of other creators that have reached out to me and asked, like, they want to get into like Road Reality is actually somebody who's just doing it, but there's a couple other creators that have reached out. They're like, man, I've wanted to do stuff about my truck, but I'm afraid. Or I've actually had quite a few of those. And that always bums me out because it's like, dude, just do it. Just do it. Brandon Picasso, just had a chance to meet up with him again at the last India Motorcycles press event. That dude, he's about that life. He's all about India motorcycles. He's wrenching on stuff in his garage. You know, like the content comes across authentic because it is. And then there's other creators where you can tell that they don't really love the stuff anymore, and it comes across in their content. And some of them kind of have to fake it to get through because that's their niche and they're scared to do anything else, and it sucks. But that's never been me. It's never going to be me. The content that you guys see with me will always be what it is. Mr. Blue Dude just subbed on my creator account. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not going to say don't do it. You know, typically speaking, you want subscribers to be people that are actually going to interact with the channel. You want people that are, you know, going to interact with the content. But right now, for this 25, I don't care how I get there. It's 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday. I'll take it any way I can get it. So, but I'm just kind of bloviating here on a lot of this creator stuff. This journey for me, like hitting this 100,000 at 43 years old. Been doing this for 10 years. It's a badge of honor. I could stop tomorrow and say I did something, you know, like I don't know what the future holds for this channel. I have some exciting stuff that's happened in my personal life here. Landed a dream job, big career move that's coming up in a week from now that I'm super stoked on. Maybe I'll make a separate video on that. Maybe I'll do that on my extra channel, which I haven't put anything on at all, but maybe I'll just start putting some of that stuff over there. The future of this channel, I think I might actually slow it down a little bit, which is crazy because I feel like my content's kind of been slowed down a little bit recently, but I think I only want to make videos when I want to make videos about things I want to talk about, not feel like I have to force it. So that's kind of where I'm at with this 100,000. It's been a threshold to hit and be super proud of, because I appreciate this is like rarefied. It's not easy to do. Still rocking the 2022 Power Boost. God bless you. You know, that Ford, I got rid of that Ford. 2 years ago now. Is that right? Oh, did I just go out? What happened here? Oh, my connection's unstable. You guys still have me? I think it's back. You guys still have me here? Just want to make sure the so the Ford Power Boost, I loved the idea of that truck, but I hated the fact that it sucked. It was a bad truck. It just caused me all kinds of problems. So not really team Ford right now. So look, the future of this channel, I was just talking about that. Like, I think I've been going back and forth, and you guys have seen me, like, I've got the quad behind me that I just did a video on. I've had a bunch of side-by-sides. I've had a bunch of Indian motorcycles. I will share on the live stream right now that 2026, I can almost assure you that this Harley Davidson, whoa, I just dropped my chair. This Harley Davidson will be getting traded in for an Indian motorcycle. I guess I'll probably leave the model out of it for now. I need to wait until I get a little further into this new job before I start doing stuff like that. But I think where I want to see the I just did it again. I think where I want to see the evolution of this channel go is, like with the truck, I've gone back and forth about buying like a Raptor and doing content with that, or a Razor. I'm not buying a Road Glide Road Reality. I won't do it. A lot of reasons behind it, but we can get to that in a minute. I think the evolution of this channel, if I had to predict out into the future, is probably going to be a garage that has an Indian motorcycle touring bike, a Razor of some sort for off-road stuff, just because the dunes have me hooked. Camp Razor has been a blast to go to that last handful of years. Out here in Phoenix, there is just endless off-roading stuff, and probably a heavy-duty truck to start towing some stuff around. I have also, and I'm not buying all of this stuff, right? I'm certainly not wealthy enough to go out and start dropping money on all this stuff. But I think what I would like to do is kind of slowly get there. So maybe over the next like 5 years, like my 5-year personal / creator goal is to have a garage with Indian motorcycle, side by side, 4-seater, probably a heavy duty truck, and maybe before all of that, a 2003 Corvette, I think. That specific year, only because in 2003 I was detailing cars at a Chevy dealership, younger years, and on my last day of that job, I took a Corvette off the lot, which when you're a lot boy detailing cars, there is zero reason to be driving Vettes off the lot. I played dumb on purpose because I knew that I was quitting. And I was like, I had to go gas it up, which you don't gas up cars until they're sold. And I took the Vette out. I didn't beat on it. It was, but I drove it probably 3 miles. And when I was driving it, the thought in my mind was, I will never be able to own a car like this. Like, it just wasn't ever in my future. I come from the humblest of beginnings, and the idea of a vehicle like that we're at 99,979. Thanks for the recent subs here. The idea of a vehicle like that was just like unheard of. But now I'm looking at them going like, man, you can actually get those things at a pretty decent rate, and it'd be kind of cool to be able to do that at this age and buy like that exact car. Would be pretty rad. So I might do that. That might be before anything else because it's probably the most affordable thing to buy. And also, my daughter is like all about a lot of the power sports stuff that I get here. She wants me to drop her off at school and all this stuff, and it's like real fun. But a lot of it's not really practical. I had her on the quad the other day. Helmets on, took her up to the school. We're like a mile from the school. So it's like, not actually less than that, in basically the community we live in. So it's like just 30-mile-an-hour side streets. And it's all fun and games and stuff, but I think it'd be a lot more cool to have like an ice cream car, or like, going out for dinner kind of stuff. Like, I think that kind of stuff would be kind of cool. So Mr. Blue Dude 85, I'm looking to buy an F350 Tremor with the 7.5 Godzilla. Look, this conversation about off-road trucks, I've built my truck. Again, realtruck.com. I have got a relationship with those guys. Love modding my trucks. It is so fun to mod trucks until you take it off-road. And when you really take it off-road, you start going like, man, I've been in Razors before, and it's way more fun to do 35 miles an hour in a Razor than it is to do 10 miles an hour in an $85,000 pickup truck and just like losing your mind the entire time because you're afraid you're going to destroy it. I spent a lot of years in construction, and I very much appreciated having vehicles, the trucks that were capable of running site work jobs that, you know, weren't developed yet, and you're kind of running some real rough roads. There's a lot of value in that, but you don't need a Raptor. You don't need a Tremor. You don't need the AEV Bison. You don't need, like, you start getting into a lot of that stuff and you start realizing like the truck off-road packages aren't worth the actual end experience that you get. Aside from a Raptor, I think a Raptor is maybe the only maybe exclusion to that conversation, or like a TRX, which I thought about a TRX too. But the problem with those trucks, they just don't haul enough. They don't tow enough. My truck is capped out at like 7,200 pounds. That's like, I think the Raptors are right around there too. And they're just not really built for it. So might get to the point where I just get a heavy duty truck to enable me to do more of what I want to do on this channel and not really worry so much about the off-road stuff as much as more worrying about the on-road stuff that I really would like it to do. That, or I'm going to abandon trucks altogether and just go with like a Tahoe and just say, I don't need the content for trucks, and just go buy something that's like the ultimate, you know, on-road vehicle. But I think I'll always have a pickup truck just because I tend to like carrying tools and things like that with me all the time, and putting them in the back of an SUV is a stupid idea for the purposes of accidents and things like that. So that's a whole nother conversation. So road reality, I'll get back to you about why I'm not buying a Road Glide in a minute. Temecula Valley overlanding. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks. I'm hoping to hit 100K tonight. We'll get there. Hopefully sooner than later. I've ignored everybody over on TikTok. Anybody saying anything over here? I don't even know how many people are in TikTok. I have no idea like what to do even with TikTok. I don't know if like, oh, did I get a rose? I have no idea what any of that stuff means. TikTok hasn't been my, I don't even know how many people have followed. How many people do I have? Someone on TikTok, tell me how many people I have following me on TikTok. I can't see it because I'm live streaming right now. It's not a lot. Road reality, I don't even need a truck anymore, no trailer. I could just have an SUV and be done. Yeah. So thanks to my Ford constantly being broken down, there was a trip that I had to take to LA. It was quite a while ago. And I towed a motorcycle back that was a loaner. The live wire I had to tow it back to LA. It's when I went out for the, I think, Indian Pursuit press event. I don't remember. Yeah, that would have been it. And I had a Tahoe. No, a Yukon. And the entire way back and forth, I was like, they ride so nice. And, you still have the body on frame. They tow pretty well. But, and then I also had a Suburban many, many years ago. It was probably 2017, maybe. I had going down the 90 in New York before I moved to Phoenix, and I had ice blow off the roof of a tractor trailer, come down and just obliterate the whole front end of my 2015 GMC Sierra. And the loaner that I got from that was a Suburban, and I had that for like several weeks. And I was like, man, they're really nice. But let's see. Nobody on TikTok's giving me what I need. I don't know how many followers I have on TikTok. Is that live doing well? Oh, did I get something else over there? Again, I don't understand TikTok at all. Oddly enough, my brother works for TikTok, and I couldn't tell you. Oh no, we just lost a subscriber. Oh, we'll be here all night. My younger brother told me that when I get to 99999, he's going to unsubscribe, which he won't be up at that point. But Getting the F350 so I can keep my overland build with the actual payload limits. I also want to run 40-inch tires, and I'm kind of limited to 35 with the power boost. Yeah, the power boost, I wouldn't run anything over 35s on the power boost, honestly. I actually think 35s on the power boost is probably overkill too, just because it's a hybrid powertrain, and I would imagine you pretty much are never running an electric with the 35s. I think I had 33s on mine, and it barely ever got into electric mode, but I also had the 6-inch lift. That power boost, as much as I loved getting in there, modding it and doing all that kind of stuff just because I can't leave my stuff alone, that truck's just not meant to be, it's not meant to be modded. The benefit of the power boost, though, I'll die on this hill, is it was amazing to be able to go up to a job site in Phoenix when it's 100-some degrees outside, leave the air conditioning on, but the motor wasn't running. I'm surprisingly keeping an average of 17 mpg. Yeah, look, the electric motor still helps when you're running 35s. But this gets back to, I'm running 35s on my 2024 GMC Sierra 3.0 Duramax diesel, which is a mouthful to say, and I'm still getting well over 20 on that truck. So I don't know. I don't think the V6 is like bigger tires. That basically you start tipping into the turbos a lot more just to get them going. And once you do that, your miles per gallon are just demolished. So 20 more to go. This has been a really wild ride, guys. This journey has been really crazy. Let's see, any other comments? Oh, Road Reality, the Road Glide. I'm going to kind of freewheel here. I need to sort of refine my delivery on my thoughts, but I'm a YouTuber, so I just talk out loud, right? The thing I have with Harley Davidson, I'm actually at a point where I'm so annoyed with brand identity being the thing that makes it cool to ride. I have, ever since I started posting Indian content, which is funny because, by the way, like, I actually had beef with Indian like years ago that I shared on the channel, and it's really interesting why I am where I am with Indian motorcycles, which is I was at an event a while back. You know what? I'm just going to say it right here. I was at an event a while back where there was a pretty serious accident at an Indian press event. No, it wasn't like nobody was riding like hooligans. It was nothing. It was just like an honest accident. And I actually shared this on my channel a while back, but I remember when that whole thing happened, first of all, luckily everybody was okay. It was close to not being the case. It was it shook me up pretty good. There was probably a good several months that I didn't ride after that because I was kind of got in my head. But at that event, as a YouTuber, had GoPro on my helmet, audio going, 360 camera on the bars, and all the media people, showed up. Obviously, there was like it was an emergency. People had to be there, and I was the first on the scene when it happened, and I laid my bike up against the guardrail just because we were kind of coming around a banked corner. And in order for me to park, I was actually way off kilter, but my goal was to get to the person. Bike didn't matter. So literally when I got off the bike, I let it just sit up against the guardrail, because even up on the stand, it wouldn't stay up. Nobody cared about the bike, as they shouldn't. Nobody asked me after this whole thing happened. There was like, hey, if you're done riding, by the way, I hope Road Reality is still in here, because that's what I'm telling the story for. they were like, hey, if you're done riding for the day, we'll drive you to the lunch spot. Don't worry about it. And I was fine to ride. Took my sweet ass time riding, got to the lunch spot. A couple hours like after this whole thing goes on, I was like, you know what? Not a single person from the marketing company, not a single person from Indian Motorcycles. When they came up and they're like, are you all right? You good? Yeah, I was fine. I couldn't help but to think at that moment, why do I feel like Harley Davidson at a press event would have asked me if I had my cameras rolling in that moment? Why do I feel like Harley Davidson, and I'm projecting, I haven't experienced that with Harley, but I just had this feeling, man, if I was there at a Harley event, would they have been more or equally as worried about that video getting out? And nobody, to this day, and this happened years ago, not a single person from Indian's been like, hey, do you have that? Do you have that on camera? Would you mind not posting that? Nobody tried to control the narrative. They only cared about the people. And at that event, I think it was a VP or maybe even the president of Indian Motorcycles, I forget, was there and came up and was just so human with his approach. And I was like, wow, this is a motorcycle company that's more about the people than they are the badge on the tank. And that stuck with me. From that day, I was like, that felt very genuine. Fast forward a couple years, or maybe the same year. Actually, honestly, the years kind of blend together. There was an event with Harley Davidson that I wasn't at, and there was a story came out that one of the press people that were there, a lot of times when you go to these events, right, they put your name on the bike, and a lot of the YouTubers don't want their names exposed fully, first and last name on these bikes, because then there's obviously security, safety concerns online, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people just decided to cross their last names out. Well, one person doodled a phallic shaped doodle on his card. So all the YouTubers, everybody goes and makes their videos for the whole day. They go, they edit them, they put them out. Well, Harley Davidson had enough they reached out to creators after their videos were posted and asked them to remove that doodle from their videos. Now, this is Harley Davidson. This is the badass American motorcycle brand. They reached out and asked people to remove that doodle off of somebody else's. Like, it was like so absurd to me. And that just kind of doubles down on, like, I post Indian motorcycle videos and people are like, they weren't around for the last 100 and how dare you? Thank you for the sub. The one who knows too. I appreciate it. Like, Harley Davidson guys, in the last videos I was posting about Indian, who's said like, hey, 125 years, which Indian has flat out said, hey, we had a hiatus, we weren't around, but the riders were. And because of that, Indian Motorcycles has a chance to be a company again. And they basically credit the riders for being the reason why they get to say that they've been a brand that's been around for 125 years, even though the company had hiatus. Well, the Harley guys aren't listening to that. They're just like, oh, they haven't been around for 100, they're losing their minds. And then they start talking about the factory, the Harley factory, the address. And it's like, how dorky has being a Harley Davidson rider gotten that you're so identified with corporate America as the cool thing that you ride? Like, the reason why it's cool that you ride is because you own a motorcycle and you ride. I don't care if Honda, I don't care what it is. Owning an American V-twin, in my opinion, is like an additional level of like pretty rad thing. And I just feel like the Harley Davidson stuff, like, if you're riding because of the badge on the tank, you're riding for the wrong reasons. And I just don't want to be associated with like oh, I ride a Harley Davidson because that's the only cool thing. And it's like, they've been around for, man, what a dorky reason to ride motorcycles, is like corporate paperwork. And I think the other reason why I go down that path is because like Harley Davidson, they've only gotten through because of handouts. And yeah, there's like corporate strategy behind that stuff that is like super cool. I appreciate, all of that stuff. But like without AMC, they would have been gone. Without the Reagan tariffs, right after they went back, bought out by Harley Davidson again after AMC, without those tariffs, they would have been gone. There's a very real world where Harley Davidson could have been left to die. AMC could have bought Indian IP at that point, let Harley go, and to all of those dorks in the comments are like, Harley Davidson, like all that ridiculous nonsense. Had history been written to the point where AMC was like, hey, Indian's actually cheaper for us to buy, we'll just buy that. And that was enough to infuse cash into that business. Harley Davidson died. Indian ran away with the market for the next 40 years. If people were still continuing to ride Harleys for that entire time and Harley Davidson came back, would you be in the comments right now saying that the fact that you rode Harleys for that whole 40 years while the company was gone is non-existent because of the fact that the corporation, whatever. It's just so dorky. I feel like I've lost some love for Harley Davidson simply because the brand loyalty has become uncool to me. And it's about as cool. I said this in a comment to somebody who was in that like camp about Harley Davidson about, they were like, I forgot what they said. It was something along those lines of like, Indian's been around for whatever, or Harley's been around for whatever. And I basically put it this way. I was like, it's no different than the line of white Tahoes wrapped around a Starbucks in the morning. They're not there because the coffee in the cup is good. They're there because the logo on the cup, when they get to the office, says that they went to Starbucks. And that's fine for coffee. If that's why you're riding motorcycles, like, I don't know. I just got no patience for that nonsense. Now, if you're, I get back to like Cruzy Originals. He's a dude that would probably punch me in the mouth if I questioned his reason for riding Harley Davidsons. That's a different reason for riding Harleys. And I just feel like there's an overwhelming majority of people that aren't riding because they have Harley running through their veins as much as they are because they want acceptance because of what's on the tank from others. And it's like the Starbucks thing. I don't know. So all that to say, I feel like the way that Indian treated me at a press event would not, and based on what I've heard from other stories about Harley Davidson, trying to micromanage the narrative or clean up, the hardcore rider brand couldn't handle a phallic-shaped doodle on a postcard that they were asking people to remove. That's not cool. That's like corporate America lawyer type stuff that we're like, oh, we got to clean out whatever. So that's the reason why I feel like, I don't know, I think riding an Indian is more unique. I think riding an Indian is cooler. I think that unless you are part of, one percenters or like, again, if you're really about that life, be about that life. But there's plenty of guys in the Harley Davidson store that are not. And I think there's another part too, and I'll wrap up the whole Harley motorcycle thing. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. I probably should make this a whole video in and of itself. But I think the other part of this is I also like to be a contrarian. I like to, I'll go buy an Indian because I know that people that are out buying Harleys for YouTube content are doing it subconsciously, some more consciously, depends, because that's a larger audience. And if you're going to create content, you got to go for the masses. And like, I don't care about that. Luckily, it's taken me 10 years to get to 100,000 subscribers because I don't care about that. So now the last thing I'll say is, why did I go out and buy a Harley Davidson? Because I could use like, well, what a hypocrite. You have a Harley. The reason why I went and bought a Harley is because the only reason I started riding in my adult life is because when I was a kid, my uncle had a Harley. And when I was old enough to be able to afford a motorcycle, there was zero shopping for me. I just went straight to the Harley dealership because I associated motorcycles with Harley Davidson. I didn't even consider anything else. The first bike I was going to own was going to be a Harley Davidson. Certainly I made a bunch of content on it. That was, there's a whole library of videos about this bike. But I don't know. That's kind of my take on the whole Harley thing. Sharing that on my 100,000 subscriber live stream. Hey, Garage Noise, you're over on TikTok now too. You were over on YouTube. I appreciate you jumping over, just seeing names over there that were over here. I appreciate the support, guys. This has been a real heck of a journey for me, and I am grateful for everything that this channel has provided. So do we have anybody else in here? The funny thing is, I think I told that entire story, and I think Road Reality dipped out on me. He was the guy I was telling the whole story for. That's all right. He'll see it in a video that oh, he's still here. Yeah. And by the way, I also want to say, I hope that the people that if you're riding a Harley because you love riding, I hope people aren't taking offense to what I'm saying. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not projecting on anybody else. I'm not trying to crap on anybody for, it's like the ride what you ride thing. It's the same reason I hate when people are like, oh, you like that band? That band's garbage. Like what you like. I don't, honestly, Road Reality, I don't care that you like Taylor Swift. I know you told me that before. It's fine. I'm just kidding. I just made that up. The whole Nickelback thing. It's like, dude, shut up. It's like, yeah, whatever. I can care less. What I want to, I guess another part of this creator journey I want to talk about is what this has given me the opportunity for, what you guys have given me the opportunity for. This number is, I've tried to put that in, put it into perspective of a football stadium of people. Now, granted, not every 100,000 of these people that have subbed to the channel are still active, but there's a lot of people that have been around here for a very long time. And I'm so grateful when I see a comment on a video from somebody who hasn't commented in 6 months or a year, and I see that name again. It's like, oh, it's so cool that they're still around here. But on this side of the camera, this journey has been so positive for my life. Oh, hey, man, thanks. I appreciate that. $20 super chat from Mr. Dude 85. What happened with that one cop that pulled you over in AZ when you were getting your warmer set up? Man, I thought I was going to prison that day. Not prison, jail. Yeah, that short, by the way, went bonkers. I ended up getting off with a ticket, and it got dismissed with traffic court. But in Arizona, anything 20 miles an hour or more over the speed limit is considered criminal speeding, and they can arrest you. I was on an Indian press motorcycle, which was pretty funny because it was terrifying when it happened. It's funny now. This is 3 or 4 years ago now. I was on my way back from Boulder, Colorado, back to Phoenix, and I get pulled over. And he said I forgot what it was. I think he said I was doing well over 20 over and threatened to arrest me, which was all legit. That was all something he could have done. And I was on a bike that I did not own that had license plates from, corporate. And I, at that point, realized I never bothered to ask Indian for the insurance. I never bothered to ask them for anything. I literally was just riding a motorcycle that I did not own, that a cop was threatening to throw me in jail for. And when he pulled me over, he's like, license, registration, insurance. And I'm like, oh, yeah, so about that. I got the license. And then I started going through my phone, and I'm looking for the contract that I signed. And of course, every single mail application in modern times I don't know why it's like this. You used to be able to search for a word and like just get the thing you were searching for. And now when you search for a word, it just gives you like 1,000 emails that you're not looking for. So I'm literally going like, I swear I have the paperwork, I swear. And I couldn't find it. And he was like basically assuming I was on a stolen motorcycle. So told me I was going to jail. I'm on a bike I can't prove that I'm supposed to be on. Eventually I found the paperwork. I think it took me a good 5 minutes to do that. And I sort of tap danced my way out of that one. And then, of course, all of the mouth breathers on the internet were like, you bootlicker. And I dealt with months and months and months of being accused of being a bootlicker because I was smart enough to talk myself out of getting arrested, and realized that there is a whole bunch of people in this world who would happily talk themselves into handcuffs to prove a point that actually doesn't get proven at all because the officer could care absolutely less, to the point you're trying to prove, and like, whatever. So I got out of it. Long story short, long story long, I got out of it. But yeah, Mr. Blue Dude 85, thank you very much for that $20 super chat. That's pretty dope. So back to what I was saying before, guys. This channel, the reason why I started it 10 years ago, I told this before also, but I saw actually, I created a whole website where I created a whole About Me page, gearsandgadgets.com. You can read a little more about it, but I'll just tell the story here. I saw a Saab Kyle video, a news story 10 years ago, 12 years ago, somewhere in that range. It was like a year or two before I started the channel. And I saw him, a story about how he was making, I think he was making 100 grand back then, a year off of just doing car reviews. And I was like, man, that's so cool. And it was at a time in my career when I was like, I felt like as a construction project manager in Buffalo, I think at that point I was making, this is again, 10, 12 years ago. I want to say I was making like $45,000 a year. And I was working for a company where the owner had a right-hand man, and I was kind of hired underneath him. And I'm like, well, I'm never going to be, I'll never surpass that guy. He's like already the next guy in line. And I just felt like I hit like this glass ceiling, and construction started to feel kind of like I was just going to be stuck at that forever. And YouTube, it was like that Saab Kyle video, which is a name that he still posts videos, but I think he's kind of petered off a little bit. But that stuck with me where I was like, oh, that's like so cool that he has a chance to do that. And I didn't get into YouTube to like try to replicate that kind of money, but I did view that as like, that kid's getting paid to do something he loves. And it seemed so absurd to me. And then right after that, I was like, I'm going to start doing some tech videos for me, it was like, I felt stagnated in my career. I felt like I wasn't a great public speaker. I felt like I was missing something. And my thought was like, man, maybe YouTube can like help build bridges to something else. I don't know what else. At that point, I think I was just engaged or getting engaged around that point. And I was like, I can't go back to school because I'm, I got to make the money. And if I go back to school, I won't be able to. It was like the stress of being too far into my adult life to pivot and go back to school and do it. It just didn't seem like I could do it. So YouTube was like my approach. It's like, I'll use this to build bridges and see if maybe there's something there. And so I started for the first few years of just like, I'm going to make terrible videos. They're still on my channel today. I've never pulled them down because it's like, that's part of where I come from. And I want people to see the awkward, terrible beginning of what this all was, because it's just real. And so I guess I'll just tell the whole story. What the hell? I'm here. It's alive. I started getting to the point where I was like, man, I just feel like this career is like dead. Started making those videos. Then got married. Then we moved to Phoenix, had our daughter. And when we had our daughter, it was the meaning behind the YouTube thing shifted a little bit, where it was like, oh, not only am I like unhappy in my career and I'm trying to like build new bridges, but I also wanted to kind of show my daughter, who literally was just an infant, that you could change and pivot in life. You could do, you know, you're never stuck. The why changed a little bit. But the motivation stayed pretty much the same. Then Casey Neistat came out and started doing his daily vlog, which he inspired, I mean, endless numbers of creators to do this thing. But thank you very much about jumping streams to get me subs. I appreciate that. So, you know, Neistat comes around and he starts doing his daily vlog. And it was like, that's where I realized like there was a human side behind all this. So that was still, my face wasn't in any YouTube videos. I was way too embarrassed. But Casey Neistat kind of planted the seed of like, oh, you can actually put your face in videos, or you should. People have, that's when I started realizing that like these comments, the people that I'm engaging with on this channel, these are real people. I'm a real person. Like there's an actual connection here. I was just sitting at a press event where I was sitting next to Do It With Dan. And I'm like, I feel like I know this guy because I watch all of his content. And like, that's the same relationship people have with me because I had it with Casey Neistat. And like all this, like, it all became a lot more like real to me. So once I'm in Phoenix, I continue on my construction career. Mr. Blue Dude 85, I'm honestly grateful for you starting your channel. Your early build on your power boost was my inspiration, though I probably could have found my way doing my build. You directly inspired me. That is the kind of stuff that I love to see. I love it. It's real. So once I got to Phoenix, I still felt real stagnated in my career. I was like, I made a little more money when I moved here because there's just Buffalo to Phoenix. There's a little pay bump in general, cost of living type of stuff. But I still felt like, man, I'm just not getting anywhere. Well, this is where things in my life started to change, and I didn't realize it yet. You know, here I am on the YouTube side. I've got drones. I got cameras. I'm putting together commentary. Well, I had always been a big tech guy in construction. This goes back to, I was one of the first guys walking around with an iPad with drawings on it back in like 2010, somewhere in that range. And I remember dudes laughing at me being like, that is never, like, I need my paper. I'll never. And I just like helped champion a lot of technology and construction. Well, here I am on the back side doing like a lot of my YouTube stuff. I'm doing drones. I'm doing all this stuff. Well, I ended up landing a job here through a kind of crazy series of events with a general contractor. And the one who knows too, do I talk firearms? I don't do it frequently. I may more now. I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk about that in a minute. But so I ended up with a general contractor here, and that was around the time my channel hit 10,000 subscribers. And that was when I was like, oh, I'm no longer embarrassed to say that I have a YouTube channel. 10,000 was the first time where I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, I felt like I could say it and not feel like a total douchebag. It still felt douchey. It still feels douchey. But I remember one day I was like, I'm going to bring my drone into the office and do some aerial survey stuff because I started to realize like that was something cool. And then I also started to, there was a lawsuit that happened about a job, a big hotel project that I wasn't on, that cost, it was like, we're talking, we'll just say millions of dollars were being floated around. And I was like, hey guys, we got to like shore up some process here. Here I am like in my early 30s, mid 30s. I started to have a little more, I started to believe in like, you know, I've been around long enough. I speak up, people are listening. You know, there was a lot more of like, I think just in time, being more influential. And I'm like, yeah, we got to do more. We got to, you know, whatever. So all of a sudden I find myself bringing the drone and doing aerial survey. That all came from the YouTube channel. Pushing a lot of the tech side of stuff, presenting the ideas of that came from the YouTube channel. Well, that general contractor was like, hey, we appreciate everything you did for us on the tech side. We want you to go back to being more of like a traditional PM. And that was at the same time that the big tech company who I had just bought all of this software for was like, how did you sell these guys? We've been trying to sell them for years. And the answer was because of all the stuff I was doing on the YouTube channel. I just had the right approach. I knew how to do it. And that big tech company is like, come work for us. So at the time when like the GC I worked for was like, hey, we need you to go back and do the thing that I felt like was kind of stagnating my career. I didn't want to just be a PM anymore. I wanted to get more into the operations side of the business. This big tech company was like, you can go do this for us and just sell to those people. I'm like, absolutely. So basically this channel gave me all of the tools to go and do that over on my construction career and like breathed a whole bunch of new life into that construction career. And then things went horribly awry with that tech company. And I then basically just did like this YouTube channel full time. I had another job that I haven't really shared with you guys for the last few months that was not really giving me what I wanted. And just a few weeks ago, a contractor here in town hit me up and said like, hey, we would like you to do this job. It was the job that I wanted to do for the GC 5 years ago. Basically the exact job description that I had written up and kind of pitched as an idea. Now I just got offered to go and do for this actual like giant. I'm so excited. You guys have no idea to get back into like the construction side of the business. It's where I belong. Oh, we got live will end. Don't end. Drag the puzzle piece. Hold on. All right, we got that live going. So basically that very long-winded story, which I have time for long-winded stories. We still got 13 subs to go. This channel, you guys, the audience, helped me build new muscles to a career that is exactly where I want to be. Without this, I don't believe any. Some of it would have happened because I was always a tech guy, regardless of this channel. But I don't think that I would have had a lot of the skills necessary that I've earned and gained from just grinding out this channel for 10 years. And maybe that's also why I didn't care about chasing a niche. Maybe that's why I didn't care about the flashier side of building all this stuff and just more of the authentic side, because I started with that intention of wanting this to build bridges to new things more than I did make me that Saab Kyle $100,000 a year, salary or whatever. So a couple questions here. Have I had a chance to test out the Mavic 4 Pro? No, I have not. I actually sold my Mavic 3 Enterprise, which was a drone grade survey, a drone built for aerial survey. I sold that because of the DJI ban here in the US, and I was afraid that I was going to be basically holding a very expensive brick. So I actually got rid of that. So I'm kind of holding off. I'm good with the DJI stuff for right now until I see the evolution of the drone stuff. That's another thing. I got my Part 107 drone license, which was, because of this channel, which I also was able to use in my career also. Adam Johnston got my boys to sub to get you up 5. Let's go. 99,989. Guys, you have no idea. Like, I don't think I'll be cracking a tear tonight when this cracks over, but that 100,000 subscriber plaque, when that thing comes, it's such a validation for me, which is goofy. It's just a plaque. But again, this grind that I've been on has been so long and hard fought. And engaging with this has not always been easy. This last year has been the hardest year of my life, bar none. hardest year of my life. And it's finally come around. The past year was hell. This year, things are kind of like everything's good. And Toby, it's almost midnight East Coast time. I'm off to bed. Toby's been around for a minute. Congratulations in advance, reaching 100K. Definitely earned blood, sweat, and tears. Great job, bro. Thank you, Toby. You've been around forever. And I am super grateful for that. Road Reality, if you hit 100K, I'm going to unsubscribe so you don't get the plaque. My brother already said he's going to unsubscribe too, right at 100K. So let's go, 992. Thank you, whoever that was. Very much appreciate it. Again, for all of the people over on TikTok, don't take this the wrong way, but I would rather have 100K over here than I would a million over there. And I mean that absolutely, wholeheartedly. Long format is where it is at. Thank you guys so much. This support has been insane. Funny is my daughter, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I've got the little subscriber counter in the office, and she was like, oh, 99.8, 99. And she's been telling me, back when I hit, I think, 85, she actually thought that meant that I was like super close to 100. I'm like, oh, you have no idea how far away that is. And she, Road Reality, you want to unsubscribe to watch that go down? You can let me know how long it takes for it to react. And she was like, yeah, are you going to do, like, I hope you do a video when you get 100. She's been, I keep telling her that I'm the most famous YouTuber. She's showed me all of the YouTubers she watches, which is like, $3, $4, $5 million subscriber channels where they just shout and scream and doodle things. And it's like all the kid channels. I'm like, I'm more famous. But she was like, when you hit 100, you should do a video. You should do a video. So tonight I was like, I think I'll just do it live. She has since gone to bed, but she was all pumped that I was going to do 100,000 live stream. We are so close. This actually feels unreal to me. It's a little like, it's an interesting crossroads to be at. Getting this new job that I'm super pumped on. So excited to get back in the mix of all 4 of my channels are subbed. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jedico 610. Hitting 100K, I've had so many moments where I've just been like, man, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. You guys have no idea. To the people who are just watching content, you have no idea how many of these content creators that are maybe in the 20 to 75,000-ish, maybe even 100,000-ish subscriber mark that are probably close to bankrupt trying to keep the content alive. I mean, you can only do this so many ways. And if you go too heavily on the sponsorship stuff, people stop watching your content because nobody wants to watch anybody talk about sponsored stuff all the time. I go back and forth about press rides and like press bikes. That's not really like, I don't want to call it sponsored because it's like there's no script. You're basically just getting access to a thing. I don't consider access to a thing as corrupted content because of that access. Now, you could certainly say that there's you should view everything on any social media platform where people are talking about anything with a little bit of like a side eye. I do it. You should do it as well. But Road Reality, just over 5,500 subs. Good guys, go subscribe to Road Reality. his content, like he's doing the grind for sure, and his edits, like he's doing the work. I mean, it's makes me upset when I see channels like that are not growing. Toby, haven't gone to bed yet. 25K subs. Hell, I just got monetized back in fall. Look, celebrate the wins, guys. Let me finish my thought. You guys have no idea. Even on the TikTok side over there, less this way because people are literally just scrolling through like the brain dead content where you consume sponsored stuff faster than you realize you need to swipe away from it. On the YouTube side, it's a lot different. You know, you build a lot more of a relationship because the content is it's more evolved. Your long form thought process, and if that relationship becomes too commercialized with sponsored stuff, your channel dies. It just happens. So the reality of it is, the road reality of it is, you need to invest in the things you love. So buying a motorcycle isn't like necessarily, it can be reckless, it can be whatever, but a lot of people are like, oh, I'll buy this because of the content, because I can make the content. There's tax write-offs against the revenue. There's so much goes into this. But when you start growing that 20,000 subscriber mark and you start chasing that dragon, you can find yourself making really, really reckless financial decisions because it's easy. Like Toby, just got monetized. I remember being at that point of just getting monetized. I remember having 5,000 subscribers. I remember having 10,000. And I remember looking at channels that had 50,000 or 100,000 and being like, I'm better than that dude. I know I'm better than that dude. If only I buy this thing, or if I only do this thing. And you can really start getting to a point where you start kind of like gaslighting yourself into making really bad decisions. And content creation it's a drug. It's a great thing as long as you keep it under wraps. But the one who knows too subbed on another. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's go. Mr. Blue Dude 85. Shoot, my creator channel is only 45 subs after nearly a year. The overland niche is so saturated. It's crazy. Look, guys, there's in the YouTube space, if you want to chase subs, you got to chase trends. And you can go into a saturated area and still make waves. But you need to find, there was a point in my channel where things went really, really well. The one who knows too, thanks. I appreciate that. There was a point in my channel where, Rock was the big thing. All the big creators were making content around Rock because they were getting paid. There was a lot of big creators getting paid to push Rock. And there was the one video that I saw from, I'll get it. I won't. I forgot her name. I feel so bad. I always reference her because she's the, someone else in the comments hopefully can remember. Dang, I wish I remembered her name because I always mention her for this motivation for what I did. There was a lot of commentary about how Rock helmets people thought they were subpar. No, not her two wheels. Smaller creator. She's very, very small. Still, dang. I'm gonna look it up now because I need to throw her. Bear with me, guys. I need to. This is gonna drive me nuts unless I can mention her name. I got to pull up my own video.
Either the smoke goes up, or with Ruroc, my concern, and this is where either the smoke.
So I ended up cutting the helmet in half. Ruroc cut in half. Which is funny because I've had people who are like, "Are you the dude that cut that?" Like, I think that was Do It With Dan was like, "I saw you in that when you cut the helmet in half." Dang, who the heck was that?
Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. So I wanted to make a video talking about why I made this video here, cutting apart the Ruroc Atlas 3
I'm so annoyed.
and comparing it to the Shoei RF 1400. Now, before I go any further,
All right, I'll have to move on because this is getting boring, I'm sure.
I'm going to ride with this thing for the sake of the review. But my God, that's a lot of rock Shoei.
Shit, what was her name? Anyways, I saw a video from a creator who bought this helmet, right? And the point is, you got to take shots. So if you're in something that's oversaturated, when I did my Ruroc video, motorcycles, the heyday of moto vlogging and like moto content was like 2018. And by the time I bought my bike, that ship had sailed and I was on the tail end of it. So Moto Tigress was her name. Nobody gave it to me in the comments. My brain still works. So when I was seeing all this Ruroc helmet content, it was fine. I know, like, whatever, the people that were promoting it, fine. But then I started to see this narrative that the helmets that were coming out were less than what people had expected, and they were charging, $500 for this like premium helmet, and people were getting like what they thought to be really inferior product. So I start seeing these videos, and I was like, what I could do, and what most YouTubers who enter into a saturated niche would do is, and did do, is see, ooh, the big dogs are buying this helmet or promoting this helmet because they're getting paid. I'm going to buy it because their videos are doing well. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to also talk, like jump on that wagon. But I looked at that and was like, oh, there's some like weird negative commentary here. I'm going to take, at that point, one of my monthly YouTube checks, which I think I was making around $500 a month at that point, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to buy a Ruroc helmet and I'm going to lop that sucker in half in my garage. And we're going to see what's in there. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, I don't know. And that's how you need to enter saturated markets, is not kiss the ring of the bigger creators. So if I make a video talking about some accessory from Real Truck, and you guys go in my comment section and see a bunch of people are like, this is trash, or you go in the website and see there's a 1-star review, you should be making a video about the running boards that I bought and be like, hey, this is actually garbage. And what you'll notice that I did in those helmet videos, I wasn't really interested in like bagging on the bigger creators as much as I was just providing information to people because they weren't getting it. If you looked at that time with like the Ruroc stuff, in my opinion, the narrative was so heavily cultivated that people needed the information, which was, hey, this is an independent review from a dude who bought it and cut it in half. That's also why I ended up cutting that Ram upper control arm in half, because I saw, again, the truck market, super saturated. People, like, I'm not the first person to ever make videos about trucks. As a matter of fact, there's like 3 or 4 other guys. But there was a bunch of commentary going around about Ram's upper control arms. And I saw all of these articles about this thing. This thing cost $120, I think. So I was like, I cut a helmet in half. I'm going to buy that upper control arm. I'm going to cut that in half. So I went and cut this thing in half. And I was like, my whole point in this video was, let's cut it in half and see what it is. And then you can make your opinion about whether or not this is a good upper control arm. And there's a lot of opportunities in oversaturated markets to just look at something and go, what can my take be on this? This upper control arm was talked about by every automotive outlet. And all they kept saying was like, it's a plastic upper control arm. Well, it's actually kind of a hybrid. It's got a plastic injection part here and then kind of like a hollow extrusion of some sort of steel material. Is it good as bad? I have no idea. I'm not an engineer, but it's interesting to pull it apart. And oh yeah, you can't replace the ball joint. So you have to just replace the actual entire upper control arm. Is that, I'm not here to tell you whether it's good or bad. I'm here to cut it in half, tell you you tell me if it's good or bad. So there's ways to look at sections or segments of all of these incredibly oversaturated areas. And if you enjoy it, just find a different approach. And if you're, no problem, Mr. Blue Dude. I keep wanting to say Dude Blue for some reason. Toby Northern, her Rurock video was her third video, 90,000 views, most viewed video, I think, pushed her over 1K subs. Yeah. And I remember her posting a video after that where she was like, she didn't want to be the Rurock person. And I so appreciated that, where it was like, she was just going to make whatever video she wanted to, whenever she wanted to, and she wasn't going to chase that algorithm. Let's get that back. And yes, by the way, I'm afraid that one day this is going to drop on my motorcycle, but YOLO. I need to clean this garage up. I got, sometimes my garage turns into everybody else's garage, but I love when people are like, oh, dude, your garage is so clean. It's like, because I shoot videos out here. You guys can still hear me okay? I think TikTok, is my phone about to die? That's sort of 14%. I have no idea if anybody's commented on the TikTok thing. Or I moved it closer to be able to see, and it's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for TikTok, but I appreciate you guys on TikTok. Don't leave. That's the creator of me. Keeping up with the Joneses in content creation can make a billionaire into a millionaire. Yeah, look, guys, again, the content creation world, like, nobody wants to hear you say the same thing. Look, when I bought the Harley, I was like, oh, I'm going to do all the Harley content. Hey, who unsubscribed? Get back in here. You're making me stay up later. I actually don't get upset when people unsubscribe. I unsubscribe to channels too, but we are 99991. When I bought my Harley, I started doing, which it wasn't bad, but it wasn't rewarding for me. It's like, oh, there's, the new bikes are in or the truck's in. We can go and do, demo rides. And I started doing demo rides on all the bikes. And there was a time when I hadn't ridden all of the Harleys yet. So that was fun for me for a little while because, the first time I rode a Street Glide, I test rode one before when I bought this bike, but I think that the first time I rode a Road Glide was a demo days. First time I rode a CVO was a demo days. First time I rode a Livewire was a demo days. Pan America. But to go and ride next year's Pan America at a demo days, like, so many people are doing like that. That's like, oh, well, everybody else is making content on these bikes. I got to be the one. Content creation gets a lot more fun when you like actually realize, oh, not only do I not got to be the one, I have no desire to be that guy. I'd almost rather make a video 3 months after everybody else does theirs. But I digress. I'm talking too much. I'm falling behind on the beer. Let's see. What do we got here? I'm actually curious to know what's going on TikTok. What are you guys doing over here? Is there like let's get a galaxy, guys. Let's get a galaxy. That's what you're supposed to do, right? I could do without TikTok. Toby, have I spoken with John Maxwell recently? I talked to him a few months back. I miss that guy on YouTube so much, which I know we all do. For anybody who's too new around here, John probably hasn't posted a video in like, oh man, 2 or 3 years now. John Maxwell is one of the people that made me appreciate that you could actually walk away from a YouTube channel. He was like 250,000 subscribers, started up his shop in Georgia, and I'll get to that comment. And ended up having a pretty successful shop, and also I think had realized, I don't want to speak for him, just say that he really started to appreciate the running a successful business, which is a whole thing in and of itself. Also has young children, and was like coaching their soccer teams, and a lot of things that when you're in the YouTube space and a full-time job and trying to keep both of them very much alive, which is why I keep talking about like this channel. I'm going to make the content when I want to make the content, when I'm inspired to do so, when I have the time to do so. But somebody like John was kind of burning the candle at both ends, and I think had realized that he could only go full bore at one thing, and have enough time to do the family stuff and all that. So I've understood why he walked away from the channel. And I don't know if he's walked away forever, but at this point, it'd be shocking to see him come back. I'm a little bummed that he didn't just do like a video a month almost, but I also understand that like a video a month, what for at that point almost, but hey, road reality. I know. Look, we've all done it. I think I'm at a point where I prefer not to do it, but I also have such an appreciation for content performing better when you try your least. And I think being able to do these videos for me, I still want to I guess it's hard. It's really hard to explain, but where'd that one comment go? Did I settle things with the neighbor with the aggressive dog? Grab another beer. This seems like a good 2-beer live stream, right? So, forgot I moved my garbage can over here. I had a video I put out about my neighbor's aggressive dogs. And yeah, beer is needed for this one. This YouTube channel can be used for good. So I got a neighbor who has one aggressive dog, and I think the other one is like just more like pack animal type thing where like its buddy's going, so it's going too. But this honestly is like 4 or 5 years now where I have been, this house is maybe 4 or 5 houses down across the street, and dude, one morning, again 4 or 5 years ago, I think I was I was trimming a tree in the front yard, so I'm up on the ladder, and I think my wife was standing out front in the front yard with the dog on the leash, my dog on a leash, and this guy's dog comes hauling from like 5 houses down, and got within, like, I'm talking, I want to say 2 feet. It's probably 10 feet. And the only reason it stopped was because I was like, I start screaming, he starts screaming, and the dog kind of like startled and stopped. And I flipped my lid because at this point, yeah, my daughter would have been 3 at that point, and she was out here. And you can imagine I lost my mind. And I was like, if you ever do that, just like typical, like what anybody who's trying to protect their child should say and do in that situation to make sure it never happens again. Well, it happened again and again and again and again. So I started getting to the point where I was like, man, I can't go out my front door without a firearm because I never know. And it's kind of been that way for many, many years now. So finally, this literally happened. I want to say I started laughing because you asked this question. It just came up 2 weeks ago. I go out my front door at 9 a.m. to walk my dog. And every time I go out that door, I'm always looking in that direction because it's always like, oh, if I need to turn around. And sure enough, the dog's out just roaming off leash again. And I just shouted, like, can you put your dog in the house? Now, what I ended up doing for the last handful of years was I just flat out told this guy, I was like, look, you've been warned. I will protect my family. And I said, from this point forward, since you seem to not be able to understand that this is a problem, just know. So first of all, I tried to call the police. The police were like, oh, we have a contract with animal control. So they literally won't even show up. So I call animal control. They won't show up unless somebody's actually being chewed on actively by a dog. And so I told the guy, I said, look, every time this happens, I will call animal control. Every time animal control comes out, they will write you a ticket. You don't have to even think about which one of your neighbors are doing it. It's me every single time. If I see the dogs off the leash, I will call animal control. You don't have to question who it is. Make no mistakes about it. So I did that for a long time. I want to say, and it was like, I swear to you guys, it was like a weekly occurrence or whatever it was. And I just kept calling. But they would never do anything about it. And it was driving me insane. So eventually I just kind of stopped calling. It's like, at what point is like, I have to live my life. So I'll just make sure that I don't get mauled. My daughter doesn't get mauled. But that's a pretty terrible way to enjoy your front yard or not be able to enjoy your front yard. So 2 weeks ago when I go out front, dog's out there, said, hey, put your dog in the house. So I go and do my dog walk. I get back home and then I had to run to the store for something. So I'm driving down the street. This guy's in his front yard. I literally pull up and I just stopped. I said, man, and I said, look, I don't know what it's going to take for you to put your dogs on a leash. I said, but I don't think it's very fair that I need to fear leaving the front of my front yard. I'm also constantly in this garage, guys. 99994. Thank you for whoever subbed. We're getting closer. 6 away. So the other aspect of this, guys, and I'll tell you, as somebody who's constantly working in my garage, right now the door is closed because it's 10:25 at night and I don't want to be live streaming with my neighbors. But there's many a times that I'm out here, garage door wide open. It gets pretty toasty in here, so I try to. It's currently toasty in here, and I'm constantly, when I'm underneath the truck, I'm always looking in that direction. So I told the dude, like, brother, at what point can I not fear living or hanging out in my own garage or, whatever? And he kind of tried to tell me like, oh, I'm just, I try. I was like, you aren't trying because you're not doing it at all. And I said, like, I basically had to be like, as a God-fearing man, I am asking you out of the kindness of my heart, can you stop being ignorant to the fact that I also would like to enjoy living in this neighborhood? Boo and Zoom. I thought it was Boom and Zoom. I just subbed on 2 of my other channel accounts. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I really had this conversation with him. I was like, look, man, I don't know what it's going to take, but I really appreciate. And I got to tell you, it took everything in my power to not be like, but I was like, I'll just try to approach it differently, I guess. And he ended up apologizing and said he would start putting the dogs on leashes, and he was felt bad that, you know, I had felt that way, and it seemed like he cared, and it seemed genuine. I shook his hand, and it's like, it seemed okay. So in the last 2 weeks, I haven't seen them off the leash, and there we go, 5 away. So hopefully maybe this person had finally realized that, like, he was being not just inconsiderate, but dangerous. And it just, like, it really, honestly, it just bummed me out. It's like, it's really sad that has to be even said. But anyhow, you know, this also was on the heels of me being very frustrated, because even like within the last couple months, I'm out mowing the front yard, and I stepped in dog crap, which my dog is in the backyard all the time, and went to the security cameras and saw one of his less aggressive dogs taking a dump at my front door at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, man, if I opened the door at that point, that dog could have came right through my door. So I just, whatever. That's the story. That's the situation. Hopefully it has changed. I did tell him that I put a video out on YouTube about it, so I don't know if he saw it. Maybe he's in the live. I don't know. But just trying to, I want to be a good neighbor, and hopefully he wants to do the same. We are 4 subscribers away from 100,000. Let's freaking go. Toby, what's the state law? Can you pew pew the next time? Yeah. So actually, animal control, when they came in one day, I had told them in one of my earlier heated exchanges with this gentleman, I made it very clear to him that that would be potentially what could happen. And my approach to him was like, hey, brother, I will protect my family, and I don't want to have to do that. So the point for Zach Rides, all right, man, I got you 2 more accounts to help. Thank you very much. That silver play button's been a long time coming. But my point to this guy was like, look, I'm less concerned about the actual necessary stopping of those dogs in the most polite ways I can say without getting my live turned off. But my concern was that, like, we live in a neighborhood, and as a law-abiding citizen, anytime you send something downrange, there's a backstop. And do I trust my shooting enough? Sure. But in the heat of a situation, you know, like, you hit pavement, ricochet, and there's homes and stuff. It's like, there's a lot more that goes into this stuff than just, you know, a lot of the comments when I made those videos was like, oh, you just take care of business. And it's like, all right, you know, John Wayne, you know, we live in a neighborhood, and there's like responsibility that comes with that too. So let's just not get to that point. But anyhow, the question about the state laws, yes, you can absolutely defend yourself from a charging dog, and animal control. I told them, I was like, hey, I'm concerned because I told this gentleman that is exactly what I would do. And the animal control's response was, yeah, why would you not? So yeah, animal control was super cool with it. 99,998. Let's go. This is a big deal for me. Bear spray in the garage, ready to rock and roll at all times. But I also have seen videos of bear spray not working on a charging, especially pit bull. It just sucks that that's something you have to, like, I live in a pretty nice HOA, and it's like, why am I having to deal with this aggressive dog stuff? Like, this seems like, I don't know. Felt very much like this feels like trailer park stuff that I don't know. I'm not, I've said this a lot of times in my life because I come from humble beginnings. If I lost it all tomorrow and had to go move into a trailer park, I'd be just fine, and I'll make it back. But I don't want to live in that now because I live in a nice neighborhood. It's like I'll deal with that when, if that day comes. I'll handle my own just fine there. But I prefer not to do that right now because, like, I don't know. It's kind of like part of having and living in nice areas is like potentially not having to deal with that. But Arizona is really, really bad with inconsiderate people letting their dogs off leash. I run into it all of the time here. I never ran into it like that in New York. And I'm guessing it's because the police probably in New York would be a little more aggressive with stuff. I think Arizona's a little more, being a more of a conservative state, I think it's more of like a live and let live kind of thing. And they, good, bad, or indifferent. Maybe there's a difference in policing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just making all that up. Oh, it works. My neighbor bear sprayed my pit bulls over the backyard fence. Sorry to hear about that. That sucks. How many new subs have you been averaging per month lately? Let's look that up. I usually average like 40 a day. I mean, it comes in like ebbs and flows. I have, some videos start to kind of like pick up randomly. That the GPS tracking videos that I did, those seem to like really kind of come in like weird waves. I'm just looking this up now because I'm actually genuinely interested in like subs per month. Monthly. Let's go last 365 days. Total between like 1,200 and 1,600 subs a month is about average, I guess. July of 25, 4,600. August, 3,600. So like those months were cruising pretty good. But around, if I can kind of keep it around that 1,200, I'm pretty happy, I guess. But the growth is what the growth is. It's bad here in Cali. Oh, the dogs are bad in Cali. Well, maybe there's a difference. So like, I grew up in Western New York, so it's not like real New York. And people hear New York, they think New York City. So I think like communities being smaller, I think police have a little more time to police. No, we're at 999. We're one away. I think these bigger cities, police just have less time and they don't care as much. And when you get into California, I think they're more report takers than they are doing anything else. Guys, 1 subscriber away. Stop with my stories because I can't believe that I'm about to see this thing tick over to 100,000. That's crazy. Somebody has to unsubscribe first. Somebody do it to me, would you? Drop me down. Keep me humble. Keep me honest. Who's going to do it? Who's going to unsub? Someone's got to do it. Guys, let's see if we can get me down to 50,000 before we hit 100. Don't let me get a big head here. My head's already big enough. Physically, that is. I'm a giant noggin. Everybody, let's see if we can drop me down. Let's keep this going. Let's see if we can turn this into a 3-beer event. But if it ticks over to 100,000 and then you all unsubscribe, I already did it. So Create a Reality just subbed. No, unsub. My monetization and crossing 1K subs from doing weekly content. Yes, we did it. Let's go. Now I got to sell the motorcycle. Oh, Toby, I didn't realize you had open heart surgery. Hope you're doing all right, man. All right, we're back. We're back. I keep the bike. I knew it was you, man. 10 years, guys. Oh, somebody else did it too. Maybe I be careful what I wish for. How many years have I been doing this? The oldest video on my channel, December 8th, 2015. Let's see. Oh, that I don't even count. That video I don't really count. February 15th, 2016. Oh, shit, I missed it. I did 100K, and I was too busy looking at other stuff. Yeah, we did it. Woo! All right, let's see if we can get to 1 million in the next 20 minutes. Seriously, guys, this feels super unreal to me. I can't believe that this is real. 100,001. 100,000 even. Lost one. Guys, honestly, this has been I did this my way, and you guys supported it. The newer subs, you know, like, again, I know this channel should be and could be way bigger. And thank you, Derek. Derek, you did it. Were you the 100,000th? Seriously, like, it's just, I've been doing this my way for 10 years. And even this past year, I tried to niche down to like a bunch of different channels to cover all the things I cover. And I couldn't. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel good to me. I didn't want to feed a bunch of different channels with content. I didn't want to feel like I had to be on 5 different treadmills. YouTube is one channel is a treadmill in and of itself. To be able to do this in my ADHD, what kind of way, 100,000 is 1 million to me. And I am forever grateful for this accomplishment. It doesn't feel real. Toby, do you know how the YouTuber silver button process works? Lots of validation, or I have no idea. Never hit 100,000 before. I don't think it auto mails. I think you have to request it. I don't know. I will figure that out sometime. Sometime soon, for sure. I stayed up to see it. The Blunden, thank you. I so much appreciate. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate this. Road Reality, you say ADHD. My ADHD says hold my squirrel. Yeah. I have just let this channel take me where it takes me. I've let myself take it where I take it. If I decide tomorrow to take up tap dancing, this channel becomes a tap dancing channel. You know, like some of the sim racing stuff that I do is not relevant to anything here. I haven't done a video on that in a while, but that's a hobby that I've just decided to kind of have fun with myself and not put on the channel. But if I buy a bunch of gear for it again, I'll probably make another video. Like, I'm able to jump in and out of these things, the motorcycles, the trucks, the side-by-sides, the quad, slingshots. Being able to go out. When Kumo invited me out to test driving Porsches in Atlanta, like these moments of like, who am I? Why am I here? How do I get to do this? so many of these moments, because I don't niche down, where I get invited to these events and I have these like, why me moments? Why do I get to do this? And I get told by people frequently at these events, bigger names, like, hey man, don't be so hard on yourself. Like when I was sitting at that last event with Do It With Dan, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm just a douchebag with a camera. I don't know why I'm here. He's like, why would you say that? Brad DeBerti said the same thing to me when I was sitting at a dinner table with him. And by the way, I choked on my dinner right in front of Brad DeBerti and his father the day that I met him, and was incredibly embarrassed by that. But I'm just always in this like, why am I here? It doesn't make any sense to me. But Zach's rides, I would have seen you at the IMC party. I would have bought you a beer the night before the party. I think you guys were the other hotel though. Oh, you were there as a dealer? Yeah. That event was rad, super rad. Loved every bit of that event. That was by far the coolest Indian event that I've been at, was the 125th. Vintage release was super, super cool. Really great creators, really great dealers. That was a really good event. But guys, I'm so humbled by all of this. I humbled myself, humbled by you guys, humbled by the journey. Don't know if you follow Daniel Battelle, a content creator consultant. He hit 500K back in November. He's already at 547. You'll be there before you know it. I don't know, man. I'm not chasing. I was chasing 100,000. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. Everybody is. I said, and I'll say this probably forever as long as I have a channel, that I'll hit 1 million subscribers. I know that I will hit 1 million subscribers. I might be 68 years old before that happens. But I enjoy creating the content. I enjoy the brands that I work with. I enjoy the subscribers that follow. Mr. Blue Dude 85, another $20 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, brother. I really do. You don't have to give me your money though, but I do appreciate that. Zach rides, I agree, very fun for sure. I missed the days off of it in the Gila Resort in AZ though. Come to AZ. Are you in AZ? Let's see here. Road Reality, you guys are so funny. I made my own play button out of Legos years ago. I don't have that kind of time. I do. I could do it. Guys, 100,000. I thank you for spending time with me tonight and taking that journey with me. This feels unreal. Honestly, it feels absolutely unreal. I get it. You're not the medal chaser. I'm just saying your content speaks for itself, and it's fantastic. If that's towards me, thank you. I really appreciate that. Or if you're talking about Road Reality. Yeah, come down if you're in Wisconsin. It's good riding down here for sure until the summertime. But Mr. Blue Dude 85 off to bed. Got to wake up at 3 a.m. What are you doing here if you got to get up at 3 a.m.? With this new war on things are probably going to be interesting getting into base tomorrow. Oh man, be safe. All right, guys. Yeah, all of my East Coast people are dropping off. All the TikTok people, if you've commented over there, I've paid zero attention to TikTok whatsoever, but hitting 100K, I'm just super thrilled to share this with you guys. Without you guys, none of this stuff is possible. I guess I'll do my typical thank you guys very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, you already hit that subscribe button down below. I appreciate it very much. I will catch you guys on the next one. Good night. Thank you.